The House Intelligence Committee has issued a subpoena to David Kramer, a former State Department official and current senior director at a nonprofit John McCain organization, about his visit to meet Christopher Steele in London in November of 2016. Steele was the former British intelligence officer who had many Russian contacts that he met through his long career working with the Russian government, and he created this dossier from rumors that he had heard. This document would later be published without verification at Buzzfeed, the last bastion of all things Gawker. McCain ordered Kramer to meet with Steele to view pre-election memoranda on a confidential basis, but later brought back a copy of the document to McCain personally to deliver to the FBI. The story is really starting to come into focus. The subpoena for Kramer has him scheduled to speak before House investigators on July 11, 2018. They call it a dossier in order to give it credibility, but it really is just a series of unverified rumors. Lies. Published lies. Libel. The dossier was the foundation of an entire independent counsel set to investigate President Donald Trump for his alleged connections to Russia. The Russia story has changed so much in the past year that a lot of people believe that the accusation was made in a last-ditch effort to delegitimize the election itself.
You have forged relationships with many presidents. Do you plan on trying to forge a relationship with Donald Trump?
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
You do not consider him a legitimate president. Why is that?
I think the Russians participated in helping this man get elected.
Mm-hmm.
John Lewis is a liar who accused Tea Partiers of calling him the N-word when Congress voted in Obamacare, as the media and their ilk were dedicated to labeling the Tea Party as racists in order to stop their grassroots movement. Huh, that sounds a little bit familiar, doesn't it? Despite a sea of smartphones recording the event, and Andrew Breitbart putting out a $100,000 bounty on any video that could confirm John Lewis's accusations, the video never came out. Breitbart insisted that if this accusation made by Lewis was true, and if it did happen, it should be very easy to provide proof, as videos from every conceivable angle existed. Still, no video ever came out. When you ask questions about what exactly Russia did to tamper with the election, you are hit with tons of debunked accusations and are often called a liar, or stupid, or a Russian bot, or a troll if you don't go along with it. As we all know, there is no connection between WikiLeaks and Putin, and even if there was, the efforts of WikiLeaks illuminated information that was a benefit to all voters. WikiLeaks publishing emails that showcased a collusion between news outlets, entertainment outlets, and the Democratic National Committee had nothing to do with Russia. In fact, one of the big documents that came out, which was used to illustrate the supposed collusion between the Russian government and WikiLeaks, Dossier 2.0, was created on a version of Microsoft Word belonging to a man named Warren Flood who worked at the DNC. After people found out that the metadata of the Dossier 2.0 documents completely exonerated Russia, then the story changed again. To many of us, the story changing this often was a red flag that the entire narrative was nothing short of a fabrication. Speaking of fabrication, there is also the Buzzfeed Trump-Russia dossier, an example of some of the finest yellow journalism we have seen in the past decade. This dossier was a product of a misinformation campaign by Fusion GPS, an opposition research firm that was hired by the Hillary Clinton campaign and some never-Trumper Republicans. In the end, it doesn't really matter who funded the document, but whether or not what was reported was true. Many of the claims in the so-called dossier have been debunked, at the very least more than other stories that have been dismissed as conspiracy theories. One thing to be mindful of are the people whose hands passed along this dossier, and how they have a common distaste for Trump and have been very open about it. This went through Rick Wilson to Evan McMullen, who is a former CIA operative who was running for president in 2016, who then passed it to John McCain. McCain would later pass this on to the FBI following the election, and this would lead to the independent counsel led by Robert Mueller.